Welcome back to episode 2 of And Here We Are. I'm Dee.
And I'm T.
We're back at it again. So, what are we discussing today? Because I forgot.
Life lessons that we learned too late.
What? Life lessons we learned too late. What life lessons have I learned too late? I don't think it's ever too late to learn.
Okay.
I don't think it's ever too late. Like, you learn every day. You grow and learn every day. So I don't think it's a life lesson. Would there have been some things that I wanted to learn sooner?
Right.
But I don't think it's ever too late to learn. Like, I would have wanted to learn sooner about investing in Bitcoin or like real estate.
For sure.
And, instead of us sitting here right now like this, like we could be sitting here as millionaires. But, that's, I guess that's not too late though. Because we're still able to do it. But it's not we can't catch the uptick on Bitcoin. But
That's true.
I did XPR, XRP, whichever one that is. Some Dogecoin, some Shiba Inu. I don't know. I hope those go, from here to there. So, but
Yeah.
catch that. I can't catch the Bitcoin wave, but because I think I can only buy like a fraction.
0.0005 of a
This
dollar.
much of-
right.
This much of
a
Bitcoin.
share. Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't. What about you?
You know what? I wish that I wouldn't have taken out so many student loans. Wish that I would have learned that lesson earlier. From just a grown-up standpoint, wish I would have been more informed about credit. Those
Yeah.
kinds of things. Relationships. I've learned a lot now. Life lessons about people and how people operate that, I can't say I wish I would have learned them sooner because I think that you have to go through that stuff in order to learn. But some things you do learn later in life that, you wish you would have learned earlier.
All in timing. But I'm also a firm believer in things happen when they're supposed to happen and the timing that they're supposed to happen.
True.
So, but about credit, my mom used to always say, you make a bill, you pay it. And if you don't have cash to pay for everything, you better have some damn good credit. Don't mess it up. And her favorite thing was, his credit's so bad he can't get a down payment on a hot dog. I don't even know how much a hot dog costs. It's not that much, but I don't know. So all my life, like, she pretty much kind of steered us. So credit was never an issue for me. I can't say for the other siblings, but I don't know. My credit was never an issue for me. Like, when
Yeah, I think that my parents just didn't have bad credit. They just didn't have it.
Yeah.
So the knowledge of it wasn't passed down to me. So when I got to college and they were like, "Do you want a credit card?" Absolutely.
For $5 a month,
Right.
we'll give you this card,
Right.
and we'll give you this
Right.
plastic water bottle for
Right.
free.
Exactly.
What? Say less. Give me that MasterCard.
Exactly.
At the student center.
I had an
you
American
walk up-
Express. What are you talking about?
You walk up to the student center, and they had this table with all the little tchotchkes and freebies that they gonna give you, and you open a pamphlet, and they be like, "Oh, for $5 a month or $10 a month," and it's once you charge it, it's not due for another 30 days. But what they failed to tell you is that in that time that you charge it, all of that principal gathers all this interest.
Right.
But my mom did say, when I remember I got the first credit card, and that's when she gave me. Even before then, she was just like, she looked at the envelope like, cause it was plastic. She was like, "You got a credit card?" I was like, "Yeah." That's when the whole spiel started.
About the hot dog.
About the hot dog,
Okay.
about the credit, and it's for emergencies or try to keep it. Or the best thing to do is, if once you charge it, pay it off in full so that you don't accumulate that interest. But yeah, I think it's just a lot of things that I try to teach, my kids about credit.
Right.
And things that you kind of wish that you have known, like you would have known. Like you said, your parents didn't have it. Like, it wasn't bad. They didn't have it. Like, my mom had it and she kept impeccable credit. Like my dad was the one who didn't have credit because he was the one who paid for everything in cash.
Okay.
He used to be like, you don't need a credit card. Like, I don't know if he thought the government was tracking him. I don't know. I don't know why he just did not want like a credit card. But then like later in life, my mom opened up a credit card because he went to do something. And he's like, you have no line of credit.
Right.
And he's like, well, I pay cash. Like, I want to pay cash for this. And he's like, yeah, but you had to run your credit. He's like, but I don't understand. I'm giving you the money.
Right. Yeah.
So what are you talking about? So then that's when this whole thing happened, when he finally got a line of credit. And like, he was, okay, as soon as he charged, he told my mom, pay it off. She's like, the bill didn't come yet. Like, and this is before like the online
right.
stuff and all that. She wouldn't have known how to do it anyway, but all of that stuff. But it was just my dad is in that pay cash type of thing.
So I think things you pass that on to your
you pass
kids.
What you know. And like now, since we know more about investing, you can't pass on what you don't know, and sometimes you inadvertently pass on things that you don't know that you're passing on, which could be traumas and the generational curses. And
girl, that's another episode.
Yeah, exact facts and that type of stuff. But yeah, so you just kind of let them know, like I'm just like, invest, save your money, do this. So she's in a much better position at 23 than I ever was at 23. And I think as parents, you just want your kids to be better off. You want each generation to do better than the generation previously.
Absolutely.
So it's just about building a legacy.
Yeah, for real. So do you think now that's on your personal, well, kind of on your financials, but what about relationships? Anything that any of those life lessons that you learned the hard way about being in a relationship or from a relationship?
For me, if it doesn't fit, don't try to make it. I think for me, I thought because you love someone that you have to make it work. That's what it's about. Like, you gotta kind of make this work. And then it goes from, okay, this is not working out the way that I thought it was, but it just has to. I knew from like the first marriage, it was like, I don't think I really shouldn't have gotten married. I was young, like young. I was 20 something. You don't know anything at 20. Like, that's like me at her. Like, imagine Kyla at 23, get ready to get married. Like 23 going on 24, get ready to get married. Imagine her being married. Like, you don't know anything about life enough to say that, yeah, I'm going to sign up to be someone's wife. Like, I didn't know. I think back on that. Hindsight is always 20/20. I think back on that, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know enough to be a wife. I didn't even know enough about myself,
right,
to be a wife. And then a few years later, it's like a compounded. It's like then you become a mom, and then you got other people depending upon you. Yeah, but if it's stop trying to force something that doesn't fit. If that's one thing, and you can love a person, but just doesn't mean that you have to be with them in that capacity. You could probably be better off just being friends, or that's it. But if it doesn't fit, don't force it.
Like a pair of jeans,
a ponytail, anything. if it don't fit, don't force it.
Right. Okay.
What do you think that, looking back outside of the things that your parents like credit or?
I think that those are the things to take more of an interest in my finances, because that's something that we as African Americans kind of struggle with, just being knowledgeable about those things.
Again, it's just
knowledge.
Because if our parents didn't know, then
so it's like I kind of had to stumble through that on my own. So now it's like, I'm managing it, but it would have been easier had I had more information earlier. Those are life lessons that will carry on with you. So like you said, you pass them down. So if I'm doing better than my children will do better, and I'll leave a legacy for them, and on and on and on.
Grandchildren, great grandchildren, and even your great the ones that you never meet.
Right.
People like, my great grandma T.
She had a bag of money in the mattress.
She put some money in
and
a
she
pillowcase.
put it in Bitcoin.
And it just blew up. She bought Sheena Ebu
Right.
and Dogecoin.
Yeah.
And that's how we sitting on all these acres of land right now.
Right. Our parents wouldn't have done that.
But also, I think it's a different because it's a different time. Also, and as you think about, my parents were working class, like blue collar working class. My mom's a seamstress. My dad was a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, there were luxuries that they just didn't have or couldn't afford. They were too busy providing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember we didn't have cable. I used to go next door to Kanitra's house because there's like an MTV. That was a big thing. And like, you watch a little MTV logo float or whatever. Like, we didn't have cable. Like, I was just like, oh, you have cable?
Yeah. I remember when we got a VCR, I was like, wow.
Yeah, we did have a VCR. But oh damn, we are dating ourselves because like that's crazy.
We are.
Damn. But yeah, I just remember like not having cable. It was just like regular TV with the big clicker that had like 4 buttons on it or something like that.
Right.
And a record player. And like so it was just certain luxuries that we didn't have, but we didn't know at that point.
Like, it's a different time. Like,
Yeah.
the things that our kids are open to now and that we didn't have, and what we have, our parents didn't have, and I think that we also make it easier for them, like as far as life lessons.
Yeah.
Like, we always say that this generation is soft as baby poop, but soft. They're soft. Like, they don't, the struggle, they are not built for adversity at all.
No.
Like, they don't know what it's like. They don't know what any of that is like. No cable. The Wi-Fi goes down and my daughter is downstairs like, what is going on?
It's like
the world is ending.
It's the Armageddon.
Right.
Yeah. My phone's not, this page keeps buffering. I don't know what's happening. So yeah,
Right.
it's just, it's different. But I also think, I don't know, I look at my kids now and I look at like us compared to them now, how much more we were out, like outside, going all day, drinking from water hoses,
and those are life lessons too. Like to be able to be outside and to be with nature and all that. Those are life lessons that they won't have. Right.
We talked
about
how hard it is to survive in the summer all day with no food.
We talked about that the other day. You go down the street to the candy man's house. He's a guy with one eye selling mini Snicker bars.
Come inside
my mother didn't know where I was.
My basement. I got some
My mother didn't know where I was at. She had no idea where I was. I'm in some strange man's house with $1 and a handful of loose chocolate chip cookies. I could have been murdered. So yeah, that's now these kids today, they're gonna get killed. They are getting killed. Nia, my kid inside of an old man's house, she's getting chopped up. I already know it. God. I already know she's getting chopped up because she has no life skills. None.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's the truth. It is the absolute truth.
Oh, I can't.
It's terrible. But those are things that they won't ever get to know. But as far as like relationships, I was thinking about something that we talked about last episode about boundaries. And I feel like I learned too late to kind of tune into my boundaries. Like, right. Because, after somebody had just pile drived all over them, now it's like, now I realize, oh, wait, I have boundaries? Like, so I think that's a lesson that I learned I'm not gonna say too late for my life, but too late in that particular
Yeah.
situation. But it helped me going forward because now I know that, like you said, no is a whole sentence,
Mm-hmm.
and my no means no.
Yeah.
Like, it's an absolute, and I know where my no is now. Before it was, I didn't know where no was. It was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, maybe it was a yes, but it was a wavering yes.
Yeah.
But now it's no. So
Yeah.
that's a life lesson that I've learned. Too late for that situation, but not too late for life.
But do you think also that a lack of boundaries or how we grew up, like with our parents, because women then were a different time than what the women are now. So we could have seen like our mom's boundaries being just like shit all
Absolutely.
over,
Mhm.
even though they were trying to assert them.
Mhm.
But we saw the end result of what happens, even though
Right.
you're saying no, 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 no.
Right.
And then so we saw that. And I think even for women, just us growing up as little girls in that environment and seeing it, and like again, it's also, I think it's a double edged sword because I waver, and I've realized this. I waver on these are my boundaries, blah blah blah. No, and then I waver on like giving people the benefit of the doubt or being a people pleaser, and then I internalize it, and I'm like, I really don't feel good about this decision that I made. I really don't feel. I want to say, I don't know, I really want to say, no, I don't, this doesn't make me feel good, but I'm gonna just go ahead and do it, just because you know what, I'm a compromise because that's what a relationship is part of. And again, that's the younger self,
Right.
and then as you get older. But I also think that asserting your boundaries and having these boundaries is also a learned behavior.
True.
So, you
So do
know,
you feel like that's a life lesson that you have picked up that you need help in, or that you realize?
I definitely picked that up along the way. Like over the past couple of years,
Mhm.
I've 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 sat there and and going like, oh, this doesn't feel good, and I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about this decision. You know, I don't like it. And then with me, the type of personality that I have, I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't feel good. But then you keep internalizing it, internalizing it, internalizing. If anyone ever knows anything about a Libra, they are the sweetest people. We are the sweetest people. But you get to the point of where you explode, is completely different. It's a completely different. It's you go to a total annihilation.
Right.
So boundaries. I know in 2025 that on this day, the new year in 2025 going forward is just I'm really just going to speak my truth. And I said the thing is I'm going to speak my truth even if my voice shakes, even if I'm afraid to, even if I'm not sure of what that truth looks like in totality or what the end result of that truth is, but I know I'm going to speak it just based on my feelings because I never ever, and I don't want this for my kids either, and I hope this is something that if they ever look at this or anybody looking at this feels that you're in a friendship, a relationship, or any your job, anything that just gives you constant mini heart attacks
Right.
or like kind of put your nervous system like not at ease, walk away.
Right.
Walk away from it. We
Right.
don't Everyone's given a limited time and we don't know, no one knows what time when our last time is going to be.
Right.
Like, so don't give that time to people or things and situations that just don't feel good to you. Because, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it.
So now, do you think that we, as good parents, do you think that we kind of shield our kids from certain life lessons? Like, do we protect them too much? Not that our parents didn't protect us, but because we went through certain things, do you feel like we shield them from
Yeah.
things? Do you think that that's better for them, or is it doing them a
Um,
detriment?
the world is different from when we grew up. Like us leaving the house
Mm-hmm.
when I'm 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, getting on my bike with two of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
going up to way out into,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like we're gone. Like
Right. No phones, nothing.
yeah, nothing. And you only thing you can hope for as a parent at that point, I hope you come back. They had commercials. It's 10 p.m. You know where your child
Right.
is. Like I know where my child is because
Right.
we all have trackers and everything on our phone
Right.
now.
Right.
We didn't have any of that stuff. It's just that we would literally just go out in this world and go explore and do everything. And I definitely think I shield them from more because there are definitely more situations, and
More.
the technology has made it a lot more accessible for
Mm-hmm.
people and predators to come at the children, like on their games, like all of this stuff. We didn't have, we sitting and playing Atari or Nintendo or something.
Right.
We didn't have nobody like talking to,
Right,
like
right,
trying
right.
to, and chat. We didn't have all of that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely feel like I definitely shield them more. And also, but at the same time, how much do you shield them and how much do you allow them to experience on their own for growth purposes?
Right.
I think our parents let us experience a hell of a lot more than we let our kids experience.
Absolutely.
Like, even down to fighting. Don't come. Listen, if you come back here and they beat your ass, I'm gonna beat your ass. You let them beat because you got your ass beat. You know what I mean? Like, don't you? If
My
someone
mother never
hits you,
told me that, but
no, it's like it was. I was told like, don't ever hit a person.
Right.
Like, if someone hits you, then you knock them the hell out. Like,
Right.
don't you ever start a fight, but you finish a fight. I don't ever want to have to go to the school because you're starting something.
Right.
Now it's come to that. I look at just the difference in how we were raised. Like, none of my kids had any of that type of conflict. Like,
Right.
they've not had to fight. And I'm thinking, like, if they ever had to, like, yeah, I don't think it would end well. But it just would not end. It wouldn't end well. But then, as like the parent now, you're like, I really don't want my kid to have to fight like that. Like, all my
Yeah,
life I had
yeah.
to fight.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
grown up. If you don't want your kids to have to do that, but you want to know that if it came down to it, if conflict or something like that happened, like, I want to know that they could,
They can handle themselves,
Yeah, they
right.
can handle themselves.
Yeah.
But there's just lessons that you try to teach them, and there's the ones that you let them, learn on their own.
Right.
But we just learned a lot of tougher lessons on our own, which is why I think the generation that we grew up in now is why we are the way we are.
The stronger.
Yeah, only the strong will survive. The survival of the fittest. That's it.
So if you could tell your younger self something and give your younger self a piece of advice or a life lesson, what would you kind of share with young D?
When people show you who they are, believe them.
That's a good one.
Absolutely believe what at face value.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point, whether it's, I don't know, a month in, 2 months in, a year in, whatever it is, however long they can have their representative out, or whatever it is.
Representative.
Yeah. Representative. Believe them. Believe people when they show you who they are. I would tell my younger self not to stress over the things that you can't change, because the result is always going to be the result, and at that point in time you're stressing it's not going to change anything, but you've now worried yourself sick. Like, I'm good for worrying. What used to be good, like, for worrying about things that worry doesn't change the outcome. You just worry and you're stressed because the outcome's going to be the outcome.
That's true.
And because things always work out. I will say this until I can't say it anymore. Things work out the way that they're supposed to work out in the time that they're supposed to work out.
Every single time.
So that's what I would tell myself. What about you? What would you,
I would tell
little girl with the ponytails,
I
little
would
girl
tell
with the
my
ponytails?
younger self to not to be your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't worry about what other people think. I spent a lot of time as a child worrying about
Mm-hmm.
that, or trying to fit in. You fit in where you fit in, and where
Mm-hmm.
you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
But I see that my child is doesn't worry about that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's the younger version of me, and I try to like instill that in her.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she's doing it. She don't care about what people like, what she likes.
Yeah.
She likes the things that are all the way to the left, and I
everybody else to the
support
right.
all of
Yeah.
it. Right.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. I would also, yeah, tell her to be her authentic self, and that sometimes people leave, friendships change,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
It's
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You know, so many things have changed in my life since I was a younger version of me.
Mm-hmm.
So many friends that, you thought, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
and even coming back to friends. Some people are still around, but it's
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
friendships,
They change.
they change
Yeah.
because you change, and if you don't change as a person, that's not really growth. But yeah, I would tell her to not worry about friends that are coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
That you'll get more.
Now, because you have like your child who doesn't care about fitting in, and she's like, everyone else over here to the right, she's over to the left, like, yeah, I like these things. Now, since you have a child like that and you nurture that, do you think that has helped you heal that part of your younger self?
I think that I was able to nurture that part of her because I did heal
Mhm.
that.
Good. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I would, if I would have fed into, the angst of her not wanting to express herself and what she liked, if I was still not secure in fitting in. I don't care if I fit in.
Yeah.
What do I care? And she doesn't care either. So, I'm able to support that.
Yeah.
So.
I think also as we get older, we become more comfortable
True.
in who we are and
But not all the time. Some
who we're
people are
becoming.
still caught up in the
Th-
people
what
that they
if-
think
you know
that they
what?
are.
This is true. This is true. Well, I know. Okay, so you know what? From my personal experience,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's dial that back.
Yeah, from my personal experience, I've gotten more comfortable with who I am.
Okay.
And if someone doesn't like something that I'm wearing or they think it looks stupid, it's like, oh, I don't like that with that. Like, that looks stupid. Well, good thing you don't have to wear it then. Good thing you don't have to wear it.
I can't.
So, yeah.
Okay. So we said our parents, but who do you think are also, people that had an influence on the life lessons that you've had? Like anybody else?
Let me see. Outside of parents, I think that's the first. I mean, that's the holy grail of people that's going to have a major impact on how you perceive life, how you walk through life. But, and grandparents as well. But I think the other person that has taught me lessons growing up, like tough lessons, has to be my brother. Like, because we are the closest in age, because him and I are only 4 years apart.
Okay.
Whereas, because we're my mom's second set of kids. The first set was when she was younger.
Okay.
Like, fresh out of high school, she got married. She had one child at like 18 and then like another one at like 19 and a half. Like, I can't even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a different time, different era.
Right.
So, my brother and I grew up together, like having an older brother in the sense of being a protector, and having an older brother in the sense of, now do not get it wrong, because there were times when he would beat my ass. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not lying. I also gave as good as I got, because that's just the nature of how I am. But I remember this one lesson. And I mean, to this day, I mean, I remember how much it hurt too. I don't know, we got into a fight or something, or we were fighting amongst something, and he hit me, and he had like no remorse. He had nothing. It was like, you hit me like you was hitting one of your friends. Like, mind you, he's 4 years older than me.
Right, right.
But he said something to me when so like as I'm laying on the floor, like gasping for air. He like stood over me. This is Sparta. No, I'm just kidding. No, he like stood. This is Sparta. He like stood over me. He's like, you know, I hit you like this. If you can take a hit from me, then you'll be able to take a hit from a girl.
Oh.
If you fighting me, then you will have no issues trying to defend yourself and fight a girl your age. And I'm like,
My ribs are broken.
yeah, I'm trying to, like I'm trying to yell for help. I'm like, he's crazy. He's crazy. Please. I didn't understand that then, because yeah, I'm a kid. I'm like gasping for air. I'm like, I was struggling for my life. But what he said made sense. He was preparing me for battles and preparing me for fights for when he wasn't there.
Okay.
For me to learn to protect myself. And there was times when, like, my brother, like, I remember a boy smacked, when I'm talking about, he smacked the taste out of my mouth. The boy was like 3 years older than me because my brother was 4 years older, so he was a year younger. We're walking from school. And, you know, back in the day, like, somebody say something, you'd be like, your mother. And I'm walking, and he said something, he, like, stepped on the back of my shoe, and he said, he called me, like he cursed at me. Like, I think he called me, like, a bitch or something. And I'm like, first of all, like, I'm a kid, but, you know, you're older boy.
Right.
And, like, he stepped, and I turned around, I said, your mother. And the next thing I know, me being the complexion that I am, too, I just remember his hand was like, wow, smack. And I had a handprint.
Dang.
He couldn't deny that he hit me. I had a handprint on my face. Wow. And my face was stinging. I was in shock when I tell you. And I don't remember who it was, but one girl grabbed me and my brother, because we walked up Payne Avenue, and my brother was walking with his friends, and I was walking with my group of friends. And one of the girls, where's Mark? Where's Mark? And he's like, look at her face. And I'm sitting there like crying, like now, because now I'm like, oh, like my face is stinging. I don't know what to do. I don't know at this point. And my brother's like, who did it? I was like, Sean. He said, all right.
We ratting people out now.
He said, I snitched. Listen, I was a law-abiding citizen in that situation. I was minding my business walking home. He said, who did it? I said, Sean. He said, all right, my brother, and I will never forget this, my brother stood there on somebody's porch. It was like the little apartment building. He stood there with his propped up against the thing, with his legs crossed, waiting for him to come to the street. He asked him one question. He said, he walked up to him. He said, did you hit my sister? He said, yeah, pow. He ain't wait for nothing else.
Well,
I'm like, I got the handprint. Like,
that's a life lesson that Sean learned the hard way.
Like, and he hit him, and that was all. And I was like, yo, my brother, I learned in that moment, like my brother's my protector. You know?
That's a good one.
Yeah. And I've always thought about that. I thought about, like, kids. Like, I don't have an older, but Kyle, you know, is younger than her. Mm-hmm. But I always thought about being protected, having a protector, like what that male figure looked like. Mm-hmm. You know, and my brother, and for all, like I said, for all intents and purposes, for all the ass whoopings that he gave me, for all the beat downs, him throwing dog chains at me, almost taking my head off, him knocking me, pushing me down the steps.
MMA in you.
Exactly. Him pushing me down the steps or putting me in sleeper holds and
Oh my gosh.
doing all this stuff. He stood up for me.
Well, that is a life lesson.
You stand up. You stand up. And it was, I guess, you also taught back then protect your sister, especially if the role of an older brother, it was to protect your sister. And I'm looking, I'm like, it's funny because you look at my brother, you would never think.
But that's another life lesson. Like,
you would never think.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't look at them quiet ones. Them quiet ones, the ones you gotta look out for. The ones that be talking all that, like the rah rah.
That's me.
The rah rah and all of the bravado. The quiet ones.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That gets you.
That's good. I think that was all I have for that. Now, how are you doing with your manifestations from the last episode? Are you keeping up with it?
I am.
You still keeping up with it? Everything's going good. We're still in the new year.
Still in the year. Still on track.
Okay.
Courses are being learned. New life skills are being learned.
That's good.
We're still recording.
That's right.
We're still recording.
That's right.
And hopefully we'll continue to record. So manifestations are manifesting.
Okay, that's
so
good.
We're good. And what's on your front? How are your manifestations? What's happening?
They're doing good. Things are progressing along. I'm still getting the journaling in, just trying to keep track of everything. Kind of still hammering out the specifics of what I want, because you write a whole bunch of stuff down, but you kind of need to fine tune it as time goes on. So I think that's where I am, but I'm still pushing along with it, so that's good. Want to make sure that our listeners are keeping up with their manifestations as well. So if you are, leave us a comment on Instagram. It's and here we are _podcast. Let us know how you guys are doing with your 2025 manifestations.
Let us know what they are. Yep. Let us know how you're doing.
Yeah.
What they look like, what they are.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We talked about goals as well. So, like goals, we talked about having bigger goals and then having smaller, bite-sized, attainable goals. Do you have bigger manifestations and do you have smaller manifestations, or are they just all like you just putting them all in this one pot of manifestation?
They're all in a pile, and I think it's just like as you go down the list, some are smaller than others. So yeah, that's how that is.
Okay.
Not you. Same.
I don't have big and little. I have just my list.
Just a list?
Yeah, it's just a list of things that I want to manifest. It's not, anything big or little, but I just want it all. I want it all. Like I don't want to leave. I really don't want to leave any stone unturned when I leave this earth.
Okay.
I want to be, and I'm hoping for a long life.
More life.
Yeah, more life. And I'm hoping that I will be that old woman sitting on a porch in a rocking chair.
With 10 cats.
I don't know if about the 10 cats. 10 cats are debatable. Maybe one, but sitting there going, you know what? I left this, I'm leaving this earth with no regrets. We can talk about regrets. What is a regret? What is regret you have?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What is a regret that you have?
Actually, I'm going to say this. One of my sayings is no regrets. I don't regret stuff because I try to do all the things that I want to do. So, no regrets for me.
Yeah. I don't think I have any. Maybe in the moment it felt like a regret. Probably. I think. But in hindsight, it doesn't. It feels like that helped shape me to be the person I am.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, what do you guys think about solo dating? Solo dating. I think that's what we're going to talk about next episode. So let us know your thoughts about solo dating. And we're going to come back to that next time.
Yep. So we want to end this episode with, it's not about the destination.
It's about the journey.
And no matter where you are,
that's where you're supposed to be.
And here we are. So we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks.